Something you shouldn't do if you are a basketball coach is coming up on This Is True Really News.
Ooh, these are often very funny.
No, just weird.
Oh, okay. These are often very weird.
And sad.
And sad.
So if you like weird and sad.
Weird and sad.
We're the guys.
The sad, weird guys.
Yeah, sadly and weirdly. Anyway, like, subscribe, and or follow this sad and weird effort. You can do that by liking, subscribing, and following This Is True Really News. Because if you try to like, subscribe, and follow, this sad and weird effort, there's nothing there.
As far as we know.
Yeah, which is about that far. Where was I? Like, subscribe, follow This Is True Really News. Yep. If you got a story we might find weird or sad, you can send that off to us at TITR@netradio.network. Wow, that was painful.
I know I hurt. My funny nodules aren't giggling at all.
This is True, Really News with Scott Combs and Tony Vercanis. All the news you're about to hear is true.
Really?
As far as you know.
What the hell are funny nodules?
Don't know, but I think we're stuck with them now. My funny nodules are gurgling. Something must have amused them.
Have to go see a doctor about that.
Sign, everywhere a sign. Missing. Pet turtle and nunchucks. Appears slow, but is very dangerous.
Think of Bruce Lee in super slow motion.
That'd be great.
With a shell.
Re-elect wandering hordes of zombies. State legislature. We can hardly do worse.
Pretty much run that in any state I know of.
Right. Any state that starts with a letter.
Yep.
Speaking of which, have you ever seen the bit the guy does on abbreviating the states? It's very funny. I don't know that if you've never seen it. It's very funny because he says, well, they started out fast. What's the first state? Alaska. Oh, great. That's AL. No problem. We're going to be done before lunch. This is going to be fantastic. So let's have the second state, Alabama. Oop. Let's put that aside for later. Let's move on.
We'll come back. Put a pin in that. We'll circle back.
And it just goes, it's fantastic. It's a great bit. Another sign, Ohio Avenue neighbors. I put a cute love note on what I thought was my wife's car last night. We figured out today that in my tired state, I put this note on the wrong car. If this car happened to be yours, I apologize for the confusion. I am not in love with you. Sorry.
You're probably very nice. It's me and not you.
You have a lot of fine qualities. Welcome home, Mommy. P.S. We're out of underwear. We don't even have any on right now. It's like a nightmare for a mom coming.
Yeah. Dear son.
Go put some underwear on.
See ya.
And finally,
Paul, mention it to your dad. If he can't help, I'm not coming home.
That's right. Don't worry, Daddy. I took good care of Mommy. But it's your turn now. She is a lot of work. Love, Caden.
Don't I know it, Dad?
Over to you.
Varsity basketball coach Jamal Street and assistant coach Arlisha Boykins got fired from their position at Churchland High School in Portsmouth, Virginia. You may have heard of this. It was January, a girls' junior varsity game. A girl who was supposed to be on the bench for the basketball team, 13 years old, wasn't there. She was absent.
Mm-hmm.
So what did the coach do when he needed a sub? He sent in the 22-year-old Boykins, his assistant coach, to play. I'm guessing everyone, and by everyone I mean everyone, figured out that the 22-year-old woman is not the same as the 13-year-old girl.
Well, it depends. I mean, does she identify as a 13-year-old?
As a... Gee, this is going to get weird in the years ahead.
Oh, boy.
As a result of the incident, the two were fired, and the team's remaining games were canceled. Churchland investigated, held meetings with the players and parents. The parent, the dad of the absent player, said, "Coaches always preach to kids about integrity." I was shocked. And no, his daughter won't be at Churchland next year.
Crazy.
That's what we've come to, really.
That's insane.
Because I remember teams having to play with 4 people because they had no more. Because of illness, injury, whatever,
or fouls.
So they went ahead and tried to do what they could with 4 people.
Yep. Of course, if you were, where'd they go to school? I can't remember, but an old boss of mine that used to work at a Baptist camp up on the Whitefish chain. He and 3 brothers were all in high school on the basketball team at the same time.
Okay.
Koblish passes to Koblish. Koblish dribbles, passes to Koblish. It goes back to Koblish. It's just, and it's such a great name to say, right? Koblish.
That, my friend, is the charm of small market radio right there.
How they met. I've been seeing.
Are these meet cutes?
Oh, they are. There's this thing going on Facebook now. Guys going up to couples on the street saying, "Hey, are you a couple?" And they're going, "Yeah." "Well, how did you meet?" And they tell the story, and they're charming and silly, and it's just kind of heartwarming. Here's a few that I found interesting. My grandmother met my grandfather because he's helped smuggle her out of the country during World War II.
Wowzers.
And they came to America. I could see where they might forge a bond.
Why do I think Neil Diamond should be playing in the background?
They're coming to America.
Exactly. Cool.
My father actually came for my aunt, but she didn't want him. So my grandmother, I think in desperation, said, "Wait, we have 6 more. What about this one?" And pushed my mother forward. The rest is history.
To which mom looked back and said, "Thanks."
Yeah.
Isn't it weird, though? I'm serious. There's one person for every human being. Yes. But there may not be that explosion of "you're it."
Right.
Sometimes it just comes later.
Along.
How do you suppose arranged marriages lasted so long?
It's so funny.
God.
I just love that.
We have more.
You wanted to date? You don't want to date my daughter? How about my daughter?
Girls,
line up.
Chop, chop. Youngest, oldest.
Finally.
Yeah.
My grandparents met in a bar. My grandpa walked up to my grandma and exchanged their hellos. After that, he said, "I'm going to marry you." She basically said, "Screw it. Let's do it." They've been married ever since.
Respect, dude.
Right?
You know what? I don't even know how my parents met. I'm guessing at a bar because mom was a waitress and dad was a bartender.
Wow. Does Ann know?
I don't know. I'll have to ask her now.
My folks met at church. Big shot.
I'm stunned.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, but he was a Marine first.
My dad was not in the Marines first.
No, he was
Army.
Army first.
Army first.
And then a chaplain.
He was
an Army. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And airborne to boot.
See, it's kind of, and I did it in reverse, and you don't call a Marine a soldier because they don't think that's exactly a compliment either.
I just call them Jarnecks.
Why does that sound like some pill I should take for something?
Ran eaters.
Nope, not that. 68-year-old Musa Kasera has a problem, but he admits it stems from his own irresponsibility.
Wow.
According to Yahoo News, which is more on the Yahoo and less on the news, reported the Eastern Ugandan has 12 wives, 102 children, and 578 grandkids because, let's be honest, half the kids aren't trying.
Come on, one of you put out.
At first, it was a joke, he said, but now this has its problems. You think? He added, 2 of my wives have left because I couldn't afford the basics, like, food, clothing, education.
Gosh,
Yeah, well,
how could that possibly happen?
So he's down to 10, or he was at 14? I'm not sure. Most of the family live in a house with a rusting corrugated iron roof on 2 acres of land. 2 acres of land for 115 of them? Not to mention grandkids. Christmas would be fun. He said, I can only remember the name of my first and the last born, but some of the children, I can't recall their names at all. I want to feel bad there, but I've got that same problem. I only have 2 kids.
Yeah, well, you don't know your name most of the time.
If I remember my name, I'm pretty pleased.
See?
If I can get back home from wherever I went, that's a plus.
My name is Tony Verkinnis. I live at 425 Maple.
Sarah added, now that all my wives are using contraceptions, I have learned from my irresponsible act of producing so many children that I can't look after. Horse? Barn door? Barn door horse? Close the barn door. Nope, never mind. The horse is already out. 102 of them.
And it happens slowly enough that it seems to me about the time you're hitting 10 or 12, you should be going,
But you got 12 wives. And if you have 10 or 12 kids, you may not have kids with every wife. And then it just makes for an ugly dinner table is what I'm saying.
This is true, really news. Send email to TITR@netradio.network.